Hi guys, so today what I have for you is I am making, in Spanish it's called bolillos, and it's a bread. I guess you can classify it under a baguette. So what I'm doing is I added 3 cups of bread flour. You can use all-purpose, totally fine. I'm adding a teaspoon of instant rapid rise yeast, a teaspoon of true salt, well, a teaspoon and a half, and a teaspoon of sugar. I'm mixing it and I'm mixing it. Yes, I'm using a green chopstick. I don't know why, I just do. I just like it. I find it easier to work with, easier to use. Now I've added 10 ounces of warm water. It can't be too hot or it will kill the yeast, along with 2 ounces of oil. And I'm going to mix. I have not added all the water. I do it a little at a time just so that I don't overdo it with the liquid. And I just mix, 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 scrape all the sides. And when the dough comes together, then I will clean the chopstick off, add a little flour if needed. If not, then this is what I do. I knead it and I clean the sides of the bowl with the dough to make sure I don't miss anything. You're basically pulling and tucking, pulling and tucking, pulling and tucking, pulling and tucking. I do have a mixer, but I accidentally cracked my glass 5-quart bowl and I need to order another one. But doing it by hand is also really relieving and fun. And knowing that you did it with your hands is great too. What I just did there is, if you want to get excess dough off your hand, you basically pretend to wash your hands with flour and everything comes off. My dough is perfect at this point. A tad sticky, but that's okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with saran wrap and I'm going to let it rise overnight. I'll see you tomorrow. Morning, guys. So I've just woken up, done a little of my morning rituals, and took out my dough, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to flour the surface just a tad because it is going to be sticky, but that's okay. That's nothing that a little flour won't fix. Now, check out that texture. I'm going to add a little flour at a time and see how my dough comes through. It's very nice. It's very sticky and plump and airy, just the way you want it. Now, I'm not making my dough come out super perfect because it's not realistic to have perfect dough. I remember the first time I tried making it and epic fail. Check out the squishiness and the softness of my dough. I am now cutting it in half and then I will cut it into 3 individual pieces. And if I feel like one piece has more than the other, then I will cut off and add to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each individual piece of dough and roll it into a ball. You can guess what I'm about to do next. What do you think happens next? I will roll all my dough balls and I will line them up together and then I will cover them with saran wrap. When I cover them with saran wrap, I will let them rest. I'm going to be setting my oven at 430 degrees. And when I pop them in the oven, it should only take between 18 to 20 minutes for them to cook. After I let them rest, I will shape them into whatever shape I want. This bread's gonna be good. All right, now check out my dough balls. They've definitely risen. They're very soft and feel very moist. I'm going to use a little bit of flour and start shaping them one at a time. Now what I'm doing is I'm flouring my chopstick, flattening my dough a bit. And what I will do is I will grab my chopstick and I will press into the dough. Flip it over, press, press. Lay it on my baking sheet and I'll do the same again with this dough ball. I'm flattening it a bit and then I will grab my chopstick again and I will begin to press. press, flip it over, press, and press. You really can't do anything you want with these dough balls. It doesn't matter. It's all going to taste the same. I know a lot of times presentation is key, but when you're doing it for your family, they're going to love it anyway. My kids don't let the bread last. They love to eat it when it's warm and hot. Here I'm rolling it. Remember, when you roll, you need to pinch and seal the bread wherever it ends. Because if you don't, then it'll basically look like a piece of bread that blew up. It'll still taste good, but that's how you do that. This last bread, or dough ball, I'm going to play with it basically. I'm going to treat it like Play-Doh and see what I can do. I normally take my dough balls and shape them all into baguettes. Or mini baguettes, I guess. But today I just feel like doing whatever I want. And here is the outcome. At this point, what we're going to do is we're going to let them rest on the baking sheet. Yep, you heard me. Rest on the baking sheet. Again, I'm doing like a fat baguette style. And you pinch, 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 pinch. And then you roll and seal, roll and seal. Now, after this, I'll be setting my oven to 430 degrees. Again, 430 degrees. When you pop these bad boys into the oven, it should take no longer than about 18 to 20 minutes for them to cook. All right, check them out. They rose nice and, fluffy. So now what I'm doing is I'm scoring the two that just look like regular baguettes or bulges so they can spread open a tad. And then after that, I will grab my water and I will brush them over the loaves. What this does is it helps it get crispy and give it a nice brown coating. I know a lot of people use like an egg bath. I don't. I just use water. You'll see what they're going to look like in a few seconds while baking. It's been about 15 minutes and I'm opening up the oven here. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of sprinkling water on them just to create more steam. I also have a pan of water down there that I also put ice cubes in to keep the moisture in and give it a little steaming method. 25 minutes later. Now when I say these nice buns are hot, they are hot. Fresh out the oven hot. But I am pulling them off and I am going to stack them. I don't really let them cool. I just stack them and let them cool that way. And I'm telling you, they're not going to last. My kids can already hear that they're out and they already want to get into them, even though it's going to burn their mouths. Ooh, hot. I can't. I just can't. I want to rip it open and show you now, but it is burning. Look at that moist bread and that hot steam. I wish you could smell it. Give this recipe a try, guys. I'll link the recipe in the description box below. Not perfect, but perfect for us.